It's
something
live.
that's not black.
Okay.
Is it
It's
working?
live.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay.
Get off your phone.
I'm just trying to see if I can, if it actually.
Oh yeah, see if we can
Oh,
see us.
okay,
Yay,
why not?
I see us.
Okay, we're on
Yes.
air. 0 viewers. Yay. All right. So anyways, hey guys, thank you for joining us on our second series video of our NYU Tandon Google Hangout. And today's topic is student life at Tandon. I'm Dominique. I'm a first-year student studying business technology management.
I'm Anya. I'm a junior and I'm studying applied physics.
I'm Cesar. I'm a sophomore studying mechanical engineering with a minor in digital art design.
I'm Deanne. I'm a first year studying computer science.
All right. So student life at Tandon. So we're going to start talking about dorm life. As first-year students, you're required to live in an NYU dorm. So here on Tandon, we have two residence halls, Othmer Hall and Clark. And so Othmer Hall is the one that's like right basically on the campus that we have. And it's very convenient. It's very close, especially if you're late to class or if you're really lazy. But then Clark is a little bit further away. It's like 15 minutes away, but it's really nice. It used to be a hotel and it's closer to the promenade. So it's really pretty. So you can live in either one of those, and then after your first year, you can live in an NYU dorm in Manhattan as well, or live somewhere else on your own. So you live in a...
Oh, so I live in a co-op in this, it's a co-op that's near Barclays Center, a company called Founder House. Basically, they try to get a bunch of people, entrepreneurs or programmers or engineers to live together so they can, have this environment of like, sharing and cooperative experiences with people who are also interested in things that you are as well.
Yeah, so that's cool. And then
I'm completely off the grid. I'm on the Upper East Side.
See?
So I live in an apartment with my friend from high school. Totally different, but it's living in Manhattan. And I have a lot of friends who live, who after their second year moved to the main campus dorms. And they're still working some things out there because the buses are, there are shuttles and there are ways to get back and forth. But a lot of people do have trouble getting to Manhattan, but by the time you guys get there, it'll be a lot better because they're figuring out all their problems now for us.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. Like, the thing about NYU is there's not really a campus. You kind of live within the city.
But then again, there kind of is. Like, when you're on main campus,
true.
like I was surprised that it felt more like a campus than I expected. Yeah,
definitely. Like, in Manhattan, there's the Washington Square Park, where basically the whole park is surrounded by NYU buildings, and here at Tandon we have this little plaza where it's a lot of surrounded by Tandon buildings, so it's kind of like you do have the campus feel, but you also feel like you're living in the city and you're part of the city as well. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
too.
it's a J Metro Tech Park, so people walk in and out of it all the time, but it's mostly it's a lot of NYU students or people from like the companies nearby, like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or Chase are around us.
Here at NYU Tandon, we have a lot of, in NYU in general, we have a lot of dining halls, but the good thing is that here in Brooklyn, we have a lot of like restaurants and places nearby our dorm where we can go and eat if we don't feel like going to Jasper Cafe, which is our dining hall. Like, we have Five Guys.
Which is getting a lot better.
Yeah, it is getting
like
a lot better.
more options from when I was a freshman.
Yeah, it's really been coming up. They have like sushi and Italian food and burgers and a salad bar, so they have a nice variety.
Also vegan halal options too.
Yes.
Yeah, but obviously some of the dining halls in Manhattan are pretty big too because they've been there forever. But as I was saying, like, we have Five Guys, M Shack, Chipotle, like all nearby, and then the fancier ones for you that can afford it. So not me, but
no, there's also plenty of cheap options.
That's
like
true.
Yes.
pizza.
Oh yeah. There's dumplings that are like $10 for $3.
Yeah, $3. 10.
Yeah. So like in New York City, like you can find anything for like any type of budget that you have. So that's nice.
Yeah, you're not losing out by being in Brooklyn at all. You might even be getting better.
Yeah, downtown Brooklyn is one of the most amazing areas in Brooklyn because it's very up and coming. There's plenty of companies building new stuff there. There's always construction and renovation happening in downtown Brooklyn. You're super close to Dumbo, Fort Greene. you can take the train down to Prospect Park, or you can go towards Brooklyn Heights, which is also a very amazing place.
Yeah, there's a promenade. You can look at the entire city skyline, like from here. There's the pier. You can rollerblade, or there's other things.
And like
I've only ever been rollerblading.
Yeah, it's like a really nice place to hang out. Beyonce apparently lives like right next to the water. So
she's in Manhattan though.
Oh yeah, but I also heard like she has like an apartment or something with James.
Her penthouse is in Manhattan, but you can see that from from here, I guess.
So yeah, that's really cool. And then also being at Tandon, some people might think that we're isolated from the rest of NYU, but we still have the same opportunities. We can join all the clubs over there, and we have our own clubs as well. And just because we're engineers doesn't mean we don't do anything artsy. Like there is a performing arts club here.
We have an art major here, or a minor.
Yeah,
minor.
There's an integrated digital media
which is also a major,
yeah. So if you want to do that, and there's like, there's a whole video game and designing aspect of engineering that you can take part in. And besides that, there's a bunch of clubs and activities and societies to get into engineering as well. So one that I'm like kind of part of is the Society of Professional Hispanic Engineers, ASS. But then there's like the STEMinists, women engineers.
We have Greek life.
Yeah, and there's Greek life.
There's a fraternity with a house.
Mm-hmm.
So the sorority doesn't have a house yet. We're working on it. There's some issues with it, but
Yeah, imagine living in a townhouse in Brooklyn.
Yes. If you're a guy in Greek life, that works out. No, the sorority is great too, though. We do a lot of really fun stuff. So
can you talk about how like people think that there isn't any Greek life at NYU? There is.
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of Greek. Like I didn't even realize until I was in it how many people there were in the Greek system at NYU. There's a penthouse in one of the Manhattan dorms, and basically it kind of cycles out because we have, I don't know the stats on how many we have, maybe like eight sororities, 8 fraternities. And I think there's like three sororities and 3 fraternities at like in the penthouse, and they're like all the like most of the people in each of those sororities and fraternities live there, and like there are balconies, and it's really cool. So you can either join a sorority or fraternity there or here.
And there's like professional sororities.
Yeah, there are professional fraternities as well. We actually have a professional fraternity at Poly. So basically anything, like you could go to main campus or Manhattan campus and do it, but there's also options here. So if you don't want to leave, you don't have to. You can do everything in Brooklyn.
Okay, so Deanne, what do you participate in here at Tandon?
So I'm actually a part of NSBE, which is National Society of Black Engineers, but all are welcomed. And I'm also a part of the NYU Pipes and Drums here at Tandon. You'll definitely get to meet them at commencement, when you graduate and when you first get here, pretty much. That's pretty cool. It's open to all and everyone associated with NYU, so that's faculty, staff, alumni, and students. I also am a part of the Academic Achievement Program, which is based in Manhattan. It's geared towards Black and brown people, but all are welcomed again. And they pretty much just have like a game night every Thursday, and then they have like rap sessions every Monday to just talk about what's going on in the world as far as politics. I've been to a lot of different meetings for things. I was a part of ACM Women, which is a new chapter for women in computer science. And then of course, we have WISE and everything like that. So.
I'm also part of SHEP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. We have a lot of stuff going on, for it's not just for Hispanics too. Like, we're open to every single other race as well. We have a lot of diversity training, stuff to, help you make your resume, apply to jobs. We have conferences, you can make contacts in outside of, in the career world and stuff like that. The great thing about going to NYU, a lot of the clubs we have try to integrate engineering and design and art together. Right, so we have this pretty huge club here at Tandon called DFA, which is Design for America. We run projects, like multiple projects every semester, right? Working with companies such as like Fiat Chevrolet or like Medline or many other ones, even with like NYU itself. To we have people can come up with ideas, or a company offers us like a challenge to face, and then we can complete that challenge. We get money to work on those challenges, and you can work in a group and get something to put on your resume and get experience before you go out into the field and make a lot of contacts with companies. And it's a really great way to like meet new people, gain new skills, just like open yourself up to a world that you wouldn't normally get and just going to like a other college where it's like not as integrated into the city and is not integrated with the more design aspect of engineering.
Yeah, and as for me, I'm part of the OHANA, which is the Othmer Hall Council, and so I'm in charge of communications. I'm the director of communications, so I'm in charge of like the flyers and all the advertisements and posting all of the social media. So it's a really great way of getting involved and getting to know the people in your dorm. So I know a bunch of people, and upperclassmen as well are in the dorm. So it's just very convenient. If you ever need help, you have someone to talk to because you get to know people like that. And I don't know, it's just a lot of fun because you host all of these events. Like we had a puppy stress therapy party for Halloween, which was really cute. We had like a bunch of puppies in our lounge area, and we were just playing around and taking pictures with them. And then we have other things like for service and charity where we do dance marathon, or we're donating money, or making food for the homeless, stuff like that. So it's just a great way of getting involved and getting to know people from your school and your year. So yeah, that's something I do, and I would recommend people to do it as well. So, yeah.
One of the great things about Tandon, is that you're getting all of the same opportunities, maybe even more, from Washington Square campus. I mean, as an engineer, you're getting more, but you're getting it in a like smaller capacity, in the sense that there are maybe less people gunning for what you're going for, and you have like a nicer, more tight-knit community, and you can know everyone in your school because there are maybe, I don't know, there's probably the same amount of people I went to high school with that go here. I went to a big high school, granted, but it's not as big as main campus. As I keep saying main campus, I'm not allowed to say that.
Manhattan campus.
Manhattan campus. Washington Square campus. Yeah, but the dorms, there's 2 dorms out here, so you know everyone in your building, you know everyone in the other building, you know everyone in your classes, and all the majors are very small. Like physics is, I think I'm graduating with maybe like 9 or 10 people, which is one of the smaller majors, but it means that your advisor knows you, and you're going to get all the right recommendations and know all the right people for when you leave college.
A lot of people are worried. Like I know a lot of people who came into engineering school were worried they're gonna miss out on the New York experience by living in Brooklyn.
You're also not that far.
But it's not that far at all. It's about 4 stops, I think, on the A train, which is about like 10 minutes, a little bit more. You're not gonna have to worry about anything, and like you can get to check out the entire city. Now, the area we're at right now has so many trains.
There's also shuttles.
Yeah, and shuttles. You can go anywhere.
For free.
Anywhere in the city. You can even take the G train, which only goes to Brooklyn and Queens. But the great thing about being in Brooklyn is that the new New York experience is developing so big, like in Brooklyn itself. Because since Brooklyn's up and coming, you have all these people who are innovating, artists or entrepreneurs in Brooklyn, right? You get to experience it here and now, unlike a lot of people who are in Manhattan who are, are experiencing the whole, Manhattan thing. But Brooklyn is.
Well, it's not just Manhattan.
No, it's just Manhattan.
I agree.
But,
I agree that
Brooklyn's
we're
up and coming, and Brooklyn's gonna be like has a really bright future, especially when you come downtown. You see what's happening all the time around here. You're not gonna miss out on anything. You can obviously you have such close access to Manhattan, but you get to live in Brooklyn, which is a lot more relaxed. It's like Manhattan but relaxed in comparison, right? So you get to enjoy the city without not having the whole constant crowd and noises all the time. If you don't like that, and you do, and if you do, you can also your second year go to Manhattan and live there. But you're not missing out on anything.
And here at Tandon, we're in such a good location in Brooklyn. We're so close to the bridge and the promenade, and we have all these the tech area of Brooklyn, and so it's a nice area. It's not sketchy or anything like some people might expect. And even if you lived in Manhattan, getting on the subway, you would have to get on the train anyways. So being here in Brooklyn, it's not that big of a deal getting on the train just to go to Manhattan. It's just crossing the river. It's not a big deal at all. Yeah.
4 stops there. Not a big worry.
Yeah. So, okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is our coursework and the classes that we have to take. One of the most popular majors here at Tandon are mechanical engineering, computer science. Am I missing anything?
I think those are two.
Yeah, those are like the two biggest ones. I'm in something that isn't really engineering. It's business and technology management. It's more of like the business side, and there's also like integrated digital media and computer science, which aren't like really engineering, but
that just goes to show that like you can be here and be in the tech world and not necessarily have to be going to school for engineering or hard science.
Yeah, and so like you can do a lot of stuff here, and you have the accelerated bachelor master's program. You can get a minor here at Tandon or go to a school in Manhattan within NYU.
And you can take classes at Manhattan too. I've taken a class almost every semester at NYU.
Yeah, I'm taking my minor in Manhattan as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like flexibility going to NYU in general. So for me as a first year, well, obviously you can use your AP credits to skip classes if you got a certain score, and it saves you money in the end. But for me, I'm taking Calc 2, I'm taking physics. Most kids first year start with chem or biomolecular science, but I chose physics, and then I'm also taking,
electives?
Electives. Physics is my elective. I'm also taking XPOS, which is a writing class that we're all required to take our first year. It's a lot of fun. Not really. And I'm taking a computer science class. So that's something I'm really interested in. Just intro to Python.
Me too.
So yeah,
it took me this long to take it. But,
but see, like you can take so many classes here, and I don't know what classes you guys take.
Well, for majors like mechanical engineering, right, which are a lot more strict in the way the course would do, we have so much to learn in our 4 years that our move around space is a little bit more limited. Like I came with some AP credits, so I had a little bit more room to breathe, so I managed to fit my minor in there. But as you reach towards the end of your, the 4 years, you'll have a lot more space to, do stuff. You have your senior project, but then you'll have a lot more, other stuff to do. And then, besides like your mandatory humanities, the humanities you have available later on, it's up to you. You can take them in Manhattan or you can take them here. There's a lot. You could be taking like philosophy of like Harry Potter or something up in Manhattan, or you can take more of a applied one down here about like the ethics of
or science journalism.
Or something like that. There's a lot available. But for mechanical engineering, it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not as flexible because it is a very you have to learn a lot.
Neither is bio, which basically means plan your schedule out, right? Like because everything's available online, all the required courses for majors. So if you know what you have to take, and you can maybe even take some classes earlier, then you have more room for later.
Yeah, and the good thing is that like the advisors here, they're very nice. Like you can walk in or you can request an appointment if you have any questions. So it's not like you can never talk to your advisor, like you're going to be lost all the time. You can always ask for help. And in my personal experience, all my classes are relatively small or normal size. They're not crowded where you don't have anywhere to sit. I know some like the mechanical engineering or the bigger majors have bigger like lecture classes. I don't know if that's true.
Well, I mean, for your first year, like when I was a freshman, right? Only one of my classes was a
EG 1001.
No, it wasn't EG 1001. It was chemistry, right?
Yeah.
So if you're taking like your first year, right? Because the thing with engineering is, unlike a lot of like other majors like that are not engineering, you are studying almost completely different things later on, right? It's completely different classes. Mechanical engineering has so many classes that are so specialized for mechanical engineering.
Yeah, in every single major.
And it's the same thing with every single major. So after your first semester, right, you already start going off into your mechanical engineering. Let's say for me, mechanical engineering class or the intro engineering class, which is a very small class to begin with because it gets split up among the classes. But you'll never have a class, honestly, that was bigger than a class than you had in high school, or it might even be smaller. So
I have a class with 3 people.
Yeah, you'll have
me
like
and
that.
2 other people, and that's it. Like
you'll be a lot more like having these smaller classes. A lot of people imagine college as you being a giant lecture hall and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people there's
maybe like one class that's in a giant lecture hall.
Yeah, like I said, like chemistry was the only class I had. Now my math class, for example, right, was a very broad class, but we had so many classes split up that in my class I only had about like 15 or 1900 people. But the point of having a smaller class is so in a smaller environment you can be a lot more close and like have like better communication with your teacher, ask more questions, and it's been shown
and again,
that
then they know who you are.
Yeah.
They write your recommendations.
Yeah, a lot of these it's been shown that people who are taking learning in smaller classes in smaller groups learn a lot better and usually have better grades in comparison.
You feel like you need to focus instead of like being on your computer.
Yeah.
You become friends with your teacher. By doing so, by being in such a small class, you can know your teacher like in a lot better way, and then work together with that person to have better grades, understand anything. We have plenty, like a lot of professors have, like office hours. You can just easily walk up to them, start asking questions, and they'll help you out. They'll gladly help you out.
Yeah, I started doing research with the professor because it was a small class, and we knew each other, and I had to apply. But I'm convinced that a huge part of the reason why I got the position was because I was in the class and I would talk to him, and I could talk to him because there was only like 6 of us.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What she brought up, actually, go ahead. Go ahead then.
I think they pretty much touched on everything. The classes are pretty small, and even with your lecture, the biggest that it'll get is 100. Like our lecture halls at most fill, I think, about 100 people as compared to Manhattan and some of the more popular majors. I've heard kids say they have lectures with 500 people, which for me would be overwhelming. Because
you wouldn't want to go.
Yeah, it's just too many people.
Yeah.
I mean, my high school graduation class was 89, so I was really scared to like come to NYU and like just like when they told me like the lecture would be with 100 people, like I was like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it. But it's really not that bad. I mean, if you like NYU but you're scared of like not being like the class being too big as compared to some of the other classes you're applying to, a simple way to solve it is just in the first and second row. I sit in the first row of every class.
Every class.
Yeah, so that I don't have to look. Cause like if I like were to sit in like the last row and look ahead of me, I'd probably just like have a mental breakdown every class period. But yeah, like the classes are pretty small. I'm a computer science major. I'm taking data structures. Yeah, exactly. I'm taking data structures and algorithms, and my class right now is 60 people. Which again, like that seemed like a lot for me because I've never had more than 20. But you just in the first row, you're good. Also, 2 people start dropping the class. It's a little harder, but that doesn't mean they drop their major. Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as you think. Plus, like, I don't know. I feel like bigger classes won't really like affect how you learn. Like, if you're here for the right reason, if you're there to focus, then you're gonna focus. I used to think like, oh, I can't focus, therefore I'm gonna fail if I have too many people. But it's like, I could fail with 2 people in the class if I wasn't paying attention. So. I mean that is a big issue. You definitely want to be comfortable, but at the same time, it's not like a make or break thing, and it's not like, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal. If you have like 100 people, just like stay focused in the first row and like just do your work.
Yeah, and if you ever do need help, we have like a bunch of resources. We have the PTC, which is like the Polytechnic, which is the old Tandon name, the tutoring center, where there's computer science, physics, like all the writing, like the XPOS classes, and
almost every class.
Every class.
Absolutely for all of the core classes, but like there are core
extra,
like very like specialized classes.
Yeah,
because
and even if like there's not like a specific tutoring time there, all you have to do is email them or email your advisor, and they can find someone who has worked like is like an authorized tutor and like has taken that class before to help you. I've actually had to do that before, so like I can vouch.
And it's so helpful, and they do practice tests, and
and like it's all like students are the tutors. It's not like adults or professors.
Right, so you can go for homework, and they've done all the homework assignments that you're doing.
On top of that, the professors also have a lot of tutoring sessions as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Across a week. Let's say you have a math exam on Thursday. There'll be tutoring sessions for the entire week beforehand, so you can like go in with
They want you to learn the material.
Yeah, definitely. You can they'll go over review packets that we have. You can ask them any questions you want. It's a really like open environment, so you can get anything you don't know that you didn't learn, that you feel you didn't learn well in the lectures out in our reviews, and you have multiple reviews like always before an exam. And PTC also runs bigger reviews before exams as well.
Yeah.
They even give you like worksheets that you can like practice with, which has honestly helped out a lot. That extra practice will definitely help you get like a higher score on an exam.
Yeah, and like especially for the first year, like the bigger courses, they definitely do huge review sessions. Like I've gone to like all the computer science ones and the math or calculus ones, and they're really helpful. They're like 3-4 hours of just this one kid like trying to help you out with all of your questions. It's like it really helps because everyone's in the room like helping each other out, like teaching you how to do
that you
it.
might not have thought of.
Yeah, and like just showing you how to do it, like you learn through practice. So it's like it's a really good resource to have. And also we have the Dibner Library, which is a 2-floor library. There's like rooms in it so you can study with a group, and it's open until 12. But the library that we have in Manhattan for NYU, which is called Bopes, it's a 24-hour one. And so if you ever are there, you can take a safe ride back here to get here safely if it's like 5 in the morning or something. So there's like a bunch of resources to study. And of course, you can always go to a coffee shop. That's such a New York thing to do, like study in Starbucks or whatever. So yeah, there's like a lot of ways to.
And also in the dorms, there are
lounges.
You work with other people.
On every other floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, even inside our building, we have plenty of areas to work as well. They're gonna make your space dinner.
Yeah,
floor too. So
commuter lounges as well.
There's whiteboards everywhere.
Yeah. Just like
if not, just get the expo right on the wall.
Yeah, like you can also like there's a lot of desks where you can write with an expo marker, and just like erases. So there's like plenty to do and plenty of places to study here at Tandon. Okay, so let's go off track, something completely opposite. How do we spend our weekends and our free time here at Tandon and in New York City? Well, I like to go exploring a lot. I'm sure a lot of people like to go exploring. Who wouldn't like to do that? Like, for example, tomorrow I'm going out with a group to Central Park. You know, it's the holiday time, and so we're gonna like have a little photo shoot and look at all the stores and the windows and take pictures. So I'm really excited for that. That's something that a lot of people do, but I don't know what you guys do.
Well, see, the thing with going to engineering school, you also have to understand that there is a lot of work involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, every once in a while you will have to, spend a bit of time on the weekend working on work. But like, if you manage your time well, you will definitely have more free time during the weekends to go out and do stuff. You might have to do some homework or whatever. But this weekend, I'm just gonna chill and hang out with some friends. It's a new college
experience.
Yeah, it's a very new college experience. Yeah. Like whatever, when you have free time, for example, you can do almost anything you want in the city. Like
sleep.
Yeah, or sleep. Yeah, but like because what you take from the city is completely up to you, right? So depending on how much you're willing to go out there, you can do almost anything, right? So
we went to really cool.
Yeah, so many events.
Yeah.
We have so many events across.
I go to concerts all the time.
We have so many concert halls involved. We also have Barclays really nearby us. We can walk. It's like a 15-minute walk.
Yeah.
It's Barclays Center. There's plenty of concerts and like sports games, sports games all the time.
Through Rothmer and Clark, the dorms at Tandon, you can they're like I think it's like $5 tickets to a ton of
like Knicks
basketball games,
and like hockey games.
Yeah, all kinds of sports games.
And like the best thing about being in New York City is that there's like easy transportation, like the subway. Like you don't need a car, you can just take the subway, you can walk, you can ride a bike. Like there's so many ways of getting places, so it's
and
so
NYU
easy.
has their own bike share, so you never you're not paying for city bike. You can borrow a bike from any NYU dorm, so you can pick up a bike here at Rothmer and then ride to Manhattan and drop it off there somewhere, and then you can take the subway back or whatever.
Also, a great thing being a student in New York City and of NYU is that NYU, just having time out in the NYU name, you can go into almost any museum in New York City for free. Like you can go to MoMA, Met, the Whitney, usually for about like no price. And sometimes you even bring a friend along with you who isn't even from NYU. And, you get to see all these, like, beautiful, amazing, world-recognized art or, like, sculptures or anything, like exhibits that you couldn't see anywhere else for free. And, it's a pretty great thing to do on the weekends. When you go out to a museum and not pay anything. The only thing you would maybe have to pay is for the subway. But, like...
But that makes it so
it makes it so
a lot of museums now are hiking up their prices, and they're now, like, around, like, $20 for entry, which is... sometimes is recommended, but... as a student, you can get, like, as an NYU student specifically, there are, like, student rates, and there's a web page on NYU that tells you all the museums, because NYU usually gets even better than the normal student rates. So
yeah, we do. Like we get it for free.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then they won't usually tell you that, but if you just say I'm an NYU student.
Yeah.
Or you show your ID.
Yeah, you show your ID.
And the only museum, but like you don't really get a good discount is the ice cream museum, which is
I know I did that. It was awesome
nice.
though.
Well, like
It was like so
free
cool.
ice cream. Oh,
Did you not? Did you do it?
I haven't done it
Oh,
yet.
I did it. It was
But,
really, really
yeah.
cool.
I think too,
Also,
though,
Museum of Sex. We don't get that.
Of course.
really cool things too, especially being a first year student, living in the Brooklyn dorms, is that there's so many events hosted by RAs. Ohana, which is what Dominique is on, and also your FFIR, which is your faculty. Fire. Okay. Which is like a faculty member that lives in the dorm. Every dorm has one faculty member. And like through that, I've like done a bike tour around Brooklyn, which was amazing. They have like things where you can like go to like a world observatory. They had bowling. I've done one where we did the MP3 project, which is the same people who do the No Pants subway ride thing. It was pretty fun.
There's laser tag.
Yeah.
My friend in Manhattan did one of their FFIR does I think like monthly PB&J breakfasts where they like make coffee and PB&J for everyone and you bring your own mug. So it's like different, two different things.
There's pretty amazing.
I think the great thing about being in Brooklyn though is you get to live the whole Brooklyn aesthetic, right? We have, the whole. You can take the G train out to Williamsburg, stuff like that. You can experience that whole, artsy bohemian life while studying engineering for NYU, right? Yeah. It's a great experience. So you can live that whole like New York life while doing math, science, stuff like that. You can definitely go out there, see all the art that's going on. You can even be a part of it, like getting to know. You can know people who are like in those projects and stuff like that. But Brooklyn has all these like possibilities.
Also, too, just keep in mind that this does kind of wear like on your wallet. So I mean, I was kind of like I guess like Dominique. I went out every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like exploring. Like, I went to Coney Island. I went to Central Park. I tried to visit all boroughs. Like I went to Harlem, Bronx, all of them. But then my wallet, like I was like my bank account was like a little low. And I would just say too, like
there's a lot of
networking.
You can tutor, you can babysit, like tutoring, especially as an engineering school student, like you're gonna make more than probably.
But I would also say networking too, though, because I'm a big band geek. Period. Like I just love playing and like love listening to most types of music. And so like I made like a vow, like I'll go to like a jazz club, like a music club every night, right? But that's like $20 every like Friday, Saturday night. And honestly, if you just tell people, but I mean like on weekends when they get the most money, there's not, trust me, try. But also too, what I started doing was I would just tell people like, hey, I'm an NYU student. I'm a student. I'm here to learn. I'm a drummer. So I was like, I'm a drummer. You were great. And from now on, like there's a drummer that I met, and he said any club he's playing, I get in free. Also got introduced to Doorman, so now I get to like into 2 like really big jazz clubs here for free now, just for saying like I'm a student, I want to learn, and you were amazing. So I definitely like take advantage of that, like just like be humble, because like the city, you can take advantage of the city, right? But at the same time, sometimes we're still college kids, like we don't have the type of money to just go and like take advantage of everything.
People do understand that, which is why they're like, I want you to be able to.
Yeah, and just tell them like you're here to learn. Like that was the biggest advice I got too, like because New York is pretty competitive if you're trying to make it. Kudos to you. But if you explain to people like I'm trying to learn and they see that you're trying to seek it, you can get just way further with that. Like being an NYU student, so you get like natural NYU discounts. But on top of that, to think you don't get discounts, you just tell them like I just really want to like soak up all that I can. And like boom.
Yeah.
See, New York City though, it can be it can be very expensive, right? But there's ways you can honestly like spend a lot less. In terms of food, there's so many places, especially in Brooklyn, that are so cheap, and so amazing, right? Especially around campus nearby, Fort Greene, Brooklyn Heights, you can find this very rich food. There's so many events that have been hosted by NYU and people in New York City. Right?
Always go to events with free food.
Yeah,
there's so many events with free food.
And so many free events happening, free music. It's like all these like huge yoga things and tours and like art exhibits outside.
If you do yoga, there's Yoga to the People, which is by donation. So if you can't pay anything, you go.
Yeah.
Remember that? Oh, God.
I was just gonna say, like, being an NYU student has a lot of perks in general. Like, not just the museum discounts. You have Broadway ticket discounts. Like our welcome week, which is like the first week that we're here. We have a bunch of events and
surprise concert.
Yeah, and surprise
Madison Square
concerts.
Garden.
Yeah, that's where our commencement was. And Javier Munoz from Hamilton was there, and like a bunch of famous people always come. And so
I had M. Night Shyamalan at my commencement.
See, and then there's like a bunch of speakers, not just at Tandon, but at different NYU schools that come and speak. And there's just a lot of connections by being an NYU student. And there's a lot of places where they give you a discount, like restaurants or food little places around Manhattan and Brooklyn.
And some places you can, like, if you're a first year student in your dorming, you have to be on a meal plan. Mm-hmm. And a lot of places, if you don't feel like eating at the dining hall, but you don't have spare cash, you can use your campus cash on your meal plan to go to some of these places, and they'll usually stand in the window, and it might be online somewhere.
Yeah, there's like stickers that you can put. But like something you should honestly understand when you come into when you're coming to NYU, right? Being in New York City is something you should try to always take advantage of. New York City, there's so many potentials, like so much like potential you can do. Like there's so many important people you can meet. Like historical places you can go to, or it's New York City. You have to you can't take this lightly. There's a lot to do, and a lot of people you can meet, and a lot you can gain from coming to this city. Like you can make your future here.
All right, so I think the last thing we're going to talk about is just exams, just kind of like the schedule.
Oh, why are we ending on that?
Oh. Okay.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Or like we're going to end it on like our favorite thing about Brooklyn and all that. But like something else we should cover is like exams. For me, there's like an exam hour once a week where
you don't have an exam once a week.
Yeah,
it's just there. It's
just there
for it.
Yeah, and that's like where as a first year where like your big exams are like the big course exams, like your calc exam, like your comp sci exam are during that hour. I know, but for like as you get older and like you get more exams, sometimes you take them in the actual class.
Especially for specialized classes.
Yeah, like especially for specialized. Classes, And so yeah, that's just something simple that I wanted to go over just to let you guys know about that. So yeah, on a more positive note, what is your favorite thing about Brooklyn or New York City, and why?
Well, for me, coming to NYU as well, like I wanted to do it like an engineering and design, thing, right? And being in New York City allows me to do something like that. I get to meet all kinds of people who are in engineering and who are doing design, so I get to live this like life of doing both, right? And that's not
Hannah Montana.
Yeah, I live in Hannah Montana, I guess. And that's not something you can get anywhere else, right? New York City is a great place to be.
You can try, but
and
you
then
can't
there's like so many things that are available like to me that I love, especially about Brooklyn, that you can just go to or experience. You can experience anywhere else, and then live this like really, really well-rounded lifestyle of doing almost anything you want. Like one day you can do art, one day you can do music, one day you can do engineering like we do, or there's so much like everything. You can do everything here.
Yeah, like that's my favorite thing about New York City, and being in Brooklyn makes it a bit more relaxed, and you have like a little bit, it seems like more time and more space to do things that you love. But in general, you can explore so many of your hobbies in New York City, and there's just so many resources to try things out. So that's like one of my favorite parts about being here in New York City. And one of the things that I always love to do is go to the promenade, because it's just like a small little walk, and it's so pretty to see the skyline, especially at night, just like with a group of friends, just walk around. So that's just like one of my favorite things that I always like to do here. So yeah.
Okay, one of my favorite things about Brooklyn specifically, I am a very small town minded person. I love small towns. I love the country. So coming to NYU was definitely like a big shock for me. But I love like our location. The fact that Brooklyn it doesn't have an explicit like everything is closed period, but everything kind of dies down around like 6 or 7 o'clock. It's not as many cars on the streets, not as many people walking. And I just really love that, except for the garbage man coming out all kinds of hours, like just banging on the trash can. Yeah, I think I just really love that, because every time I go to Manhattan, like late at night, there's just still like so many people like walking around, so many cars. If you love it, that's for you, but for me, I just need a good night rest. You know, I kind of want to walk by myself a little bit, and like at the same time too, though, like it's safe. Like it's not like it closes down early and it's like somebody like, hey girl, come here, like, you know, like no, it's so I don't know. For me, it's kind of like my own little small town, like big city, but like within like this massive, like very heavily populated area.
It's very laid back. It's very laid back, chill, cool area to experience area from New York City without the whole stress of being in the whole like Manhattan. It's not stressful, but like it's just like things that would bother you aren't as common here.
Yeah, mine is, it's kind of similar to Cesar. It's like the double life thing. I'm in a band, I'm a musician. So I get to do both. I get to play clubs at night, and I get to go to school for what I love doing during the day. So double life.
It's not something that you can get at most schools, so that's why being an NYU student is just a very special experience, and you get to learn so much so quickly. It's almost kind of like living on your own, but you're not. So it's like a really good help. Yeah, and it's a good way of transitioning into like a young adult life, and it really motivates you to get to like learn about things to your fullest potential and like grow yourself more and more. So that's like
being this whole experience teaches you how to live life a lot earlier than if you were living on a campus somewhere, right? Because you are already integrating into the city. You know, either and then later on when you move into your apartment, or you're figuring things out. A lot of people in networking as well. You're doing all these things that people usually do when they're like mid-20s when they graduate. Mm-hmm. We're doing it now. Like all of us are 19.
And you get to have
20.
fun.
Yeah,
you figured it all out instead of having to figure it all out and then being confused.
Yeah. By the time you graduate, you'll know what to do with your life.
And it's not overwhelming because you have all this help and everyone's doing it with you, and it's just kind of natural to do it when you're in the city, so it's not overwhelming at all, nothing to stress about, but it's really helpful. So all right, anything else to say? Nothing? All right, so that is it for this Google Hangout series. Thank you guys so much for watching, and join us next time when we talk about the Makerspace area, which is a new part here at NYU Tandon, and it's very popular. It's 3D printing, all of that. So tune in.
Laser printers, laser cutters, CNC mills.
Don't give it all away now.
No, okay, I'll do it all.
So that is going to be on December 9th at the same time from 4 to 5. So tune in for that. I'll be sending out emails. And thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time. Okay.
Your timeline.
Yeah, that's my thing. Bye, guys.